7 PM. I have all three selectmen present. I have the town administrator present. I have Mr. Leo Martell recording for the citizens of Dunbarton. Thank you, Leo, as always. And shout out to Linda Nickerson, who uploads it to YouTube for everybody to see. Okay, gentlemen, I have some minutes before we begin.
I'll make a motion to approve the 6:30 non-public meeting minutes of November 30th, 2023.
I'll second Justin's motion.
Any discussion on those minutes, gentlemen? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 30th, 2023 as amended.
I'll second that. Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the non-public meeting minutes of November 30th, 2023. Give a time on those,
It's 7:59.
7:59 PM.
Dave, you wanna say those?
Oh, I'll second those, sorry.
Discussion, should those be sealed, gentlemen? Any reason those should be sealed? I don't see anything that should be sealed, I think,
Maybe we can pretty generic.
I think they're fine.
okay. Then, with that, all in favor?
Fine.
Aye.
Did we sign the copy from the last week
That,
that we
we're
missed?
gonna do that in the,
Oh, no, that's it, I did the wrong one.
okay. You reached over.
Yeah.
It's okay, just, we'll get that later.
And then for me.
Okay, before we continue, Mike, you're on the agenda tonight, so I'm gonna open for public comment first. Back row? Leo, no, back row?
Yes, today I had Fred Mullen,
Thank you, Fred.
Stock Lane. Today I had a email and a picture sent to me. The, person from Dunbarton was driving by Clinton Street and he noticed the town boundary marker between Bow and Dunbarton is laying on the ground. And, I suggested to Lean today that I sent her the picture, I don't know if you guys seen it or not.
Not yet.
And, for the town to pick it up before it disappears, cause it has to be put back in by a surveyor,
Okay,
and I'm not sure if it's broken off or just come out of the ground or what. And, you know, have it for safekeeping until, cause we'll have to get together with the town of Bow. There's a joint venture thing, and also, if we do pick it up, notify them.
okay.
Is the bottom half there?
Just a small one with a point.
But I'm not sure if there's a hole in the ground there, if there is, it should be filled in right now so nobody falls in it.
Could we let the road agent for action on this one?
No, not the road agent.
Who did they pick it up?
He's gonna pick it up.
Oh, you're gonna pick it up
He's
too?
willing
Me?
to pick it up
No.
and store it.
I think it's probably heavy.
It's about probably a couple hundred pounds.
No way.
Huh?
We'll be up tomorrow, I'll
Put
make
it
sure.
out there.
Huh?
We can pick
District
it up.
five?
Leo's gonna pick
I
it
know,
up
can
for
you
you.
pick it up?
That's like a dumper
Okay.
with all the signage.
Cause I was gonna suggest using the town truck with the lift gate on it, but
No, we can pick it up.
he says we can do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
He volunteered me, I guess.
okay, Leo, you would take care of that?
yeah.
You can deposit it up here if you want, if it's not 6 feet long.
I would put it to.
Could we put it down the highway garage?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
the gray storage container that's almost empty, and it's not locked.
Okay.
Open it, put it right in there.
Is that where the buntings go for the bandstand?
Should go on the left,
Oh.
the other one. with
I
the
have
lock.
those, they end
Okay.
up at my house,
Alright,
so,
we'll get it open for you.
okay.
You mean the gazebo?
Yeah,
Okay.
heard that,
action on
Donna.
it. All set? Thank you, Fred.
Are you gonna let Bo know?
No, I think
Or
we
you
can.
want me to
call-
do it?
we
Be
can-
enough comes from the
Town
town
office.
office.
Okay, alright, got it, I'll forward that email to them,
Okay,
got it.
and tell them that we're in the process of securing that stone.
Because we're not due to perambulate that line for another 2 years either,
Okay,
so
yeah.
it should be, you know, go back in, but.
Leo, probably tomorrow if the weather's.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do we need to do that sooner than that though?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
morning.
Oh,
I'm
perennial?
not,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not sure if there's a hole there, it might have to be filled in and put something over it.
Okay. Just let us know what it
We'll
is.
put some leaves over it.
Okay,
Put
there
some
you go.
leaves
Alright. Alright, Lean, just let Bo know about it.
Got an action
Alright.
on it.
If it's gone by tomorrow, let us know too.
You
Right.
need to put a stake in the ground so you know where it is.
That's what I thought.
Well,
Just
there would have to be a surveyor to put it back in, you know,
Right, but at least you'd be close to where you think you found it.
Right,
If you guys have one, stick one in.
yeah, we'll put it in.
I get coordinates for less perambulation done there, so.
Okay, continue to back row, oh, public comment, anything, Mary, no, you're on the agenda, okay. Mike, anything for public comment? No, okay. Okay, back to the board, we're gonna go right down to the agenda. Mike, now you have the honors.
Okay.
You had two things considered, you were concerned about the post replacement and labor, as I understood.
That's right. It took me 2 hours to replace that broken post, which everyone well, I don't know if everyone knows, but I notified the town of that in 2018, sent a video of the town plow truck snapping it off. And I came to town at that time, and we were going through trial, and the select board said, well, why don't we wait until a decision gets made? Sounded reasonable to me, so I said, okay. In 2020, the decision was made. That area in front of my house is my property. Town had no right to it, no business being on it. So the town stopped plowing it. So I came in and I asked when they were gonna come down and replace the post. Dave here said he was gonna drop the post off.
Me?
Uh,
Okay, let him speak.
I waited, and it's been almost 4 years, so I went out there, here in November, bought myself a post, pulled up the old broken post,
I
and
understand.
replanted it.
Understood?
Well, you see, you guys paid for that post, so I returned it to the town. I didn't wanna be accused of stealing something.
Okay.
So, well, the post itself cost $29.48, and it took me 2 hours to get that stump out of the ground and reset the post. And I figured I could deserve $100 an hour. Dave gets paid $100 to plow the road every storm.
Okay, and so your request, I'm gonna summarize, we reimbursed you for the post, but we did not reimburse you for the labor to put in the post, correct? Did you receive a check already for the post materials only at this point?
No, I had to pay that money back, cause the town did, when I handed in my $300 check that I never cashed from the town,
Okay,
and it was out of date. So I submitted that also as my tax payment, and they had to write up a new check, and it took like 10 days to get the check, so. When I finally got the check, I showed up, it was $329.48.
gotcha.
And I handed Lane $329.48. Still got the check here, so I'd never taken any money from the town.
How about to this point?
Pardon me?
To this point?
What point?
No, to right, to this, right point in time, right now.
Yeah,
So Lean, where are we with the check, what's going on with the check, so explain that
He
one more
has
time.
the check in his pocket right there, he just hasn't cashed it.
Got it, okay, so that's, all right,
And you can.
but I did give Lane $329 the day that I got this check. So
Just,
I don't know where this $1.60 late fee comes in, because town had its money.
help me out here, Lean.
taxes are due December 1st. He showed up at the office to pay his property taxes, giving me a stale dated check, $29, and an invoice, or a receipt for $29 and change for the post, and a bill for $200 to reimburse him. That combined, he paid the difference of his taxes and was going to give me all that that combined, the check, the receipt, the bill.
Which you can't accept.
We can't commingle in the any town business with the tax collection. So I explained that to him, I said we would reimburse and process the payment of the new check, we'd void and reissue the old check, and then reimburse him for the $29 after I discussed it with the board. I explained to him that $200 was not approved, So when we process the check, $329 and change is the check he has in his pocket. He did that same day that he received the check, came in and gave me cash, $329 and change to put towards the property taxes. At that time, when I ran a report as the deputy, there was $1.68 accrued interest on the balance, because he had given me the difference, less this combined, these fees, these reimbursement things, and, so at this time, do you still have a balance on your check, on your, the interest, or is that all on the taxes? I don't recall, you've been in my office a couple of times, so.
Well, it depends on what the selectmen have approved now. You say you've approved the 2948,
Yeah,
okay? And what about my time for removing, for the post?
That's something we did not come to an agreement on.
Pardon
We
me?
did not come to an agreement on.
Oh, you could not agree on it, why not?
Well, the thing is,
What we did is we went back, and I knew that this had been in the past, and that decision in the past was to pay for the post only, not labor. So, since this issue was in 2018 or 2020, whatever you say it was, we decided to go on the old decision, and that evening, we had the road agent here. And
I can't hear you.
the road agent at the time told us we don't pay for any mailboxes or anything that we hit with a town plow or any posts. And that
Within
way,
the town right of ways.
yeah, that's right. And when we
Right.
hit that, their town was plowing that as the town right away.
Town had no business being on my property. The town insisted on coming on my property. The town broke that post.
That's your interpretation of it.
No, that is the facts, Dave.
alright,
I don't wanna get into the court case rules, but the town, at the time.
I'm not
was
getting into the
plowing.
court case rules, Dave. The town broke the post. Town had no business being there.
Well, they
They
did,
broke
cause
the
at the
post.
time they did, we had approval to turn around there from the first court
Is it-
decision.
When did the town survey Kelsey Road to find out where the right of way went?
it was after
It
this.
was after that, substantially after that.
Substantially after that. So the town was down there flying around by the seat of their pants, completely lost,
Okay,
and they snapped the post.
okay, based upon,
And did they come down and fix the post?
alright, let's put it this way. I'm gonna throw some common sense here. I'm gonna make an analogy. If someone hit my car, it was parked on my private property, and someone hit it,
You know,
I would like to expect that I would have the material replaced that was damaged, and the labor to fix that replaced. So I'm gonna concur with you that, yes, it is a gray area, but the thing is, let's solve it, and put it to bed tonight. It was on your private property, it wasn't in the town right away, in my perception. I feel that we should pay you the $200 in addition to the materials, which we already did, and put it to bed.
that works for me.
Just
That-
so we're
that's- that-
clear, in that final court case, the judge said that road was not a road for the town by prescription, which was the only thing the town was looking for. By prescription, they made no judgment on the location
It
of
was
Kelsey
never
Road.
a town road, Dave.
What the
That's
thing is,
just what the-
It was never,
okay.
the two different surveyors have concluded the town road never went in front of my house. The north side of my house, heading out towards the barn, that was never part of the town road, never. If it had been part of the town road, you guys would still be down there, right?
Correct.
Correct, alright, so,
Alright, but the proposal's on the table, I'd like to recommend we pay Mike the $200, because it was private property, even though it was a gray area, it was private property at the time, and as if it was, we damaged private property, we normally would have filed a claim without insurance if we broke anything, and we have a deductible, and who's responsible for paying the deductible? We are. And so, it's within our deductible, so I feel we owe you, in my opinion, $200 and the materials to replace that. Now,
okay, Mike, I mean, that does sound fair to me.
okay, but you charge a high rate for labor, though.
Well,
All right, that's a little bit of humor, but Justin, I want you to chime in here.
I mean, if it was on his private property, I understand the point of reimbursing the labor and the install of the post and the material.
And I think we
But
can put,
I know in our past, we do not replace mailbox posts, but they are on town right of way. So if this is legitimately on his property,
I would
then I feel that we should pay to replace it.
it's been a gray.
I was not part of the board
No, it is-
at the original
It's been a
time.
gray area, you can agree with me there, it's been a gray area. And the thing is, it was going back and forth, and the thing is, one time, the town were going up there to plow, one time they were not. But the thing is, at the end of the day, as we stand here today, it is private property.
Well,
And I
that's because I spent tens of thousands of dollars
Right,
protecting my property.
I'm supporting the court decision, I'm supporting you here. Gentlemen, can we make a motion to pay him the $200 and put this to bed?
Yeah, I think if it's the end of it, as long as it doesn't come back up again, that was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, I like to make on the record, an apology to you, I think this went way too long. It should have been solved much earlier, and I apologize to you.
And the
Okay,
road
great,
agent was
thank
the
you.
one gonna bring that post down to you, the road agent had made that decision that night to
Well,
bring it by.
And
Somebody in a position of authority in this town told me they were gonna bring down a
Yep.
post. Never showed up.
We're in agreement with you on that.
and the thing is, for that, I apologize. And the thing is, on behalf of Dunbarton, I apologize to you as a citizen of this town. I think that it was way too long, and we should have put this to bed a long time ago. And I like to just put it to bed now, and let's be done with it, let's move on.
Okay,
Do you wanna make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we reimburse, Mr. Mike Guiney $200 and the cost for the post, to bring him, make him whole again.
Yeah, I'll second that.
I'm agreeing with it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
all right.
Lean,
No, you got one more item.
Oh, no, that was it, because I mean, that had to do with the snow plowing.
Okay.
The town snow plowing, policy.
Yeah, but the policy, and I have to concur with, Dave here, when it is on, if it was a mailbox, thing is, in the past, yeah, some drivers have felt guilty and they've reimbursed citizens because they were maybe cutting a little too close, that was out of their own pocket. The town really does not reimburse for mailbox damage, am I correct, John?
Anything in the town right away.
Right away.
the only other thing, I'd like to keep that check separate and not mix it in with his
Yeah,
taxes.
Lean's gotta do
And this is
accounting,
just the $200.
Yeah.
she's gotta do accounting, so she'll work that out with you, the details.
Okay, so when I get that check, I'll come in, I'll hand Lean $229.48, and I'm not gonna pay any late fees on this. As far as I brought in legit, I realize it's not money, but there's nothing on that tax form saying you must bring in, whether it's a check, cash,
It
or
just-
Bitcoin.
Auditor would have a field day if I did that,
Okay.
but I understand,
we-
if it's less than $5, I can get it waived, so that's
Okay.
not an issue.
But just understand that she cannot commingle the dollars, just understand that.
Well, that's why, when I got the check, I came up and I handed Lean the cash, so she could,
Okay,
yeah, like I said, that money, because I never cashed the check, that money never left any of the town's accounts.
understood.
That $300 sat there.
Understood. I think, do you feel yourself whole tonight now?
Okay, I feel whole now.
Okay. Yeah, you understand the terminology, I just wanna make sure that this subject, we're killing the subject, we're putting it to bed. We're gonna bury it tonight.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'll tell you, in the spirit of, everybody working together, I'll let the town off of the $520 bill that I sent them for parking equipment on my property.
No, Mike,
I.
Well, it is posted,
All right,
right?
Mike, the thing is, I heard that, I talked with the road agent about that. He admitted that what had happened, and I understand he immediately, once notified, he immediately took action. So that was,
Okay.
And the
well,
thing is,
I would've thought he'd have been down there when those guys, those guys must have come down and looked at the job.
exactly, but
he
the
said
thing
he
is,
was not aware that they were gonna move the equipment over that quickly, and so there was
yeah,
a
it
disconnect.
was a disconnect, but the thing is, I'm glad it's been corrected.
Okay,
Okay, all right, thank you for coming in.
all right, thank you
We
very
put
much.
this to bed.
Anybody else like to have just
No,
hot seat?
no,
No, keep it there, we're gonna have the chief come up later on tonight, we're gonna put him on.
There you go, buddy.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, have a quiet evening, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, speaking of the police
hot
department,
seat,
you're on.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Look at that, so professional.
Thank you.
Just gonna move this back just a smidge.
Yeah, exactly.
Good evening.
Good evening.
2023, we had a good year budget-wise. We're gonna be turning in a little bit of a surplus. Pretty tumultuous with our staffing levels, but now that we're full staffed, we're in pretty good shape, so. Moving into 2024, looking at discretionary and contractual budget lines, there was an increase overall total of $6,680. I'll go through those lines briefly, but very, very minimal cost increases in contractual services, prosecution, dispatch, our scheduling software, and our records management software. There's also a little bit of funding for new mobile hotspots that we use in our patrol vehicles for the mobile data terminals, the computers that are in the cruisers. We're gonna switch over from Verizon Wireless to AT&T, because Verizon Wireless services, I'm sure you all know in town, has, for whatever reason, gotten worse over the years.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
So we're having a lot of issues with being able to connect to our computer in the cruiser. And we switched our work phones over to AT&T, and we've had a lot of positive feedback from the officers and a lot less dead spots overall, so. There's some one-time costs related to security upgrades to our network infrastructure, our on-site server that's also backed up remotely, and then some general increases in some other things, including uniforms. Obviously, everything's gone up in price. Personnel costs, covering a total of 10 positions, which is 5 full-time and 5 part-time positions, increased $42,832, but that includes the proposed 3% COLA. We have multiple step increases coming up for multiple employees, which is a good thing, because we're retaining people, but also being fully staffed.
Some
Which-
of that's being fully staffed for a full year.
That's right,
Others
exactly.
for partial years.
Right, exactly, so, part of that 42,832 is restoring the 10,000 that was reduced earlier this year because we were short at the time. So overall, the proposed cost increase from 2023 to 2024 is 49,512. And then moving on to the second page, that's just a full, complete breakdown of the full-time crime control, which covers myself, the sergeant, and then our 3 full-time patrol officers. That's a total increase of 33,176. That covers multiple step increases. Myself, Sergeant Tyler, Officer Tompkins was bumped up a step. This year, Philbrook was bumped up a step because he's now on solo patrol, so pretty much everyone received a step increase at some point in time. But we also hired Officer Avedisian at top step because of his years in law enforcement. Okay, moving on to the next page. Full-time overtime, I increased that by 5,000. The reason being, the aforementioned step increases, the 3% COLA, but we have been getting absolutely crushed with court time. The state has been phasing out what's called trial management conferences, so prior to that, if an individual was arrested and pled not guilty, generally the court would schedule what's called the trial management conference, which is an opportunity for the defendant and the prosecutor to come together and try and figure out if it could be a plea. And most of the time, that kept our officers out of court while also obtaining a favorable resolution. But those have been being phased out. So now when someone pleads not guilty, generally this court automatically schedules it for a trial.
What, they just doing for COVID?
It's kind of, the administrative office of the court at the state level is pushing this out statewide.
I thought that was gonna be the new future, keeping it that way.
Yeah, it's really been difficult on police departments across the state. There's a lot of nuances that go into it, but our officers have basically tripled their court time.
And if an officer does not show up for court, what does that usually happen to the,
Generally,
charge?
the case would be dismissed,
thank you.
and we would also.
And so it'd be a
create
waste
bad
of all
reputation.
parties' time if you
Absolutely.
didn't show up for court.
That's right, so, at any rate, you know, between the step increases, the COLA, and the increase in court time, I needed to make sure I could compensate for that. We did meet with our new prosecutor, and they're working on proactive resolution, basically trying to plead things out so officers don't have to go if possible, but again, that's really out of our control.
So just so I know, on your regular hours, say like a 40-hour week, do you schedule, other than like patrol time, do you schedule some court time in the 40 hours?
Generally, no, so the only time someone would be compensated on shift, is if they're essentially on day shift, cause pretty much all of our trials are at 8:15 in the morning.
Okay.
So if I get called to a trial, I'm already on duty, but most of the time, unfortunately, our guys are getting called in, they're off duty, so they get a minimum to come in and go to court.
Okay.
You know, the caveat could be if you have an officer that happens to be working day shift, they can go, but we still have to backfill their position, while they're at court, so it's a little.
There's no win-win.
There's no win-win, no, it's just it's the cost of doing business, but we are trying to mitigate it as best we can. Moving on to crime patrol holiday pay, that increased, slightly, just because of being fully staffed, step increases and the 3% COLA, that was a $765, increase. Part-time was a nominal increase, 1,707, that's the 3% COLA, but also the 4 elections coming up in 2024. As the board knows, we generally try to staff those with Officer Miliotto for approximately 12 to 14 hours, so I wanted to make sure that that was in there.
Yeah.
To have him there, so, that was the only change in the part-time hours. I think the board has seen this breakdown multiple times, and really not has changed in the last couple of years. Moving on to part-time office administrator, that was a $2,184 increase. That's the 3% COLA, but also, Linda is gonna be eligible for a step increase, equivalency of 8 years of experience, and that'll be coming approximately halfway through the year in 2024, so that's what that increase is for. Supplies, I kept level funded. Training, I kept level funded. Prosecution, that's contractual, that was only a $302 increase. I'll just say, you know, we're really getting a great bang for the buck with prosecution. The Concord City Prosecutor's Office, we've had a contract with them, I'd say every bit of 20, maybe not more, years. And they do a phenomenal job for us and represent the department for everything aside from felonies. They do a lot of administrative behind the scenes things, like if we need court motions filed for evidence, victim witness advocacy, they do all of that. So to get out of that for under $8 grand is really a steal.
Okay.
Computer hardware, I had to increase that $500. We had an issue with our all-in-one printer in 2023, so we had to buy a new one, and there's a slight service contract fee that comes with that. They'll come out and service it, they'll provide toner, things like that, so through that service contract, there is cost savings elsewhere, because before we didn't have a service contract with our all-in-one, so we were buying a lot of toner and things of that nature, so there'll be some cost savings in other potential lines from that. Gasoline's always a tough one. I kept that at 13,000 level funded. We're gonna have a little bit of a surplus in our fuel this year, but really that's just kind of a ebb and flow as we've talked about before.
What about the electric cars you're gonna get?
Yeah. They keep catching on fire, so. Police dispatch, that's contractual, $923 increase. As the board knows, that's through Goffstown PD. They provide a very, very good service for us, and that is still less than we were paying Bo, I wanna say coming up on 10 years ago. So that's a really good value in my mind, and they also provide IT support for the computers that are in the cruisers, which is a huge.
When you say support, they upgrade software and stuff?
Yeah, they'll do software upgrades and making sure that everything remains, it's CJIS, Criminal Justice Information System, so basically all the information being transmitted to and from the computer has to be behind a VPN, a private network,
Okay.
so they make sure that everything stays up to snuff.
Okay.
They upgraded their towers this year too, so.
Yeah, they did, yeah, and
Pretty
our,
small increase with all this work that they did.
it's very, yeah, they got ARPA funds for that, and really the town is benefiting hugely because of the Powell Lane repeater that Goffstown put, which was great, that the zoning board at the time put that provision in that agreement, because they were able to put it up there for free of charge, which is fantastic, it benefits us.
Yeah.
Computer software, that was a $150 increase, contractual, for our scheduling software. Network hosting, that's contractual, The increase of, 2,485 is a one-time increase. They had some recommended security upgrades to our network infrastructure, and I'm happy to go into that in non-public, just cause it is, IT security related.
Will it go down next year then?
It will, yep. IMC contract, that's our records management system, that was an $820 increase, that increase is pretty nominally each year. We've had that software going back to 2003, and it's still working pretty well for us. Telephone, $500 increase, and that's just, we had to increase our internet speed because of our new body cams. It's all cloud-based, so it's pulling it from the cloud when you watch the video, and our internet speed through Granite State was not fast enough. It was lagging like every 2 seconds. So we had to increase our internet speed, and then the aforementioned AT&T FirstNet migration for our MBTs.
What speed did you get up to, are you currently?
It's whatever the fastest one is. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, and that has worked well. 3 good news for you. Vehicle maintenance, Department of Code fees and services, all level funded. Radio repair is also level funded. I think I mentioned to the board before that our membership in the Central New Hampshire SOU, there's a radio tech employed by the city of Concord that's attached to the SOU, and he's helped us out tremendously when we've had radio problems. He'll come out here and help us out with that, because we are a member agency. Body worn cameras, I added $500 to that. That was a 50-50 match grant, as the board knows, that we got in 2022. But we found that we, from time to time, might need spare batteries or other accessories potentially for the body camera, especially an officer working a 12-hour shift. If they're having a busy shift, the battery might not last the whole time. So we like to have spare batteries kicking around so the officer can just change it right in the field. And then uniforms, I increased that by 500, just because the cost of uniforms has gone up quite a bit, and our uniform line has been $4,500 for as long as I can remember.
So you're going khaki uniforms now?
Yeah. We have, the polyester, pants that we wear have gone up to like $200 a pair. It's just astronomical.
No, I say khaki because, if you remember the response that we supported the Concord, shooting incident, and this gentleman was on site. He just threw his uniform in the wash. He had no uniform to wear, but he had to get out there, so he put his khaki pants on.
White
I s-
pants, white pants.
Yeah, and I see him on the news. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
all the time, white pants.
White
And I'm
pants? I said,
like,
that can't be ours. That's not our uniform.
Yeah, it's our training uniform, so that's all I had that day. So that is it for as far as the budget. Are there any questions from the board? I know this is more
No,
just.
I went over it, pretty well at home. Thanks for sending that early. so
Oh,
we
no
can get it.
problem. And then just to touch on, my proposal, to adding another full-time officer, I know it's kind of a wordy document, but the long and short of it is, the last time we added a full-time officer was in 2018. So approximately 6 years ago. The town has changed a lot, the dynamics of policing has changed a lot, and you'll see in this document that I try and outline my request as best as I can, showing a graph of the steady growth that the department's seen, but also looking at similar sized towns around the state, which I'm always somewhat apprehensive to do, because Dunbarton is very unique in the sense that we're so close to Concord and Manchester. And some of these communities are kind of in the middle of nowhere, amongst other towns in the middle of nowhere, but.
But they're in crazier areas.
What's that?
They're in crazier areas.
Some of them are, but the big thing is, with our part-time officers, you know, they do an absolutely fantastic job, but the reality is, they're probably not gonna be working for us, for too much longer. They can stay as long as they want, but I need to be proactive, in making sure that when our part-time staff dwindles, that we have adequate coverage, because they do work quite a bit for us. But the board has seen time and time again, we really take our time with hiring. Officer Philbrook applied in December of 2022, and by the time he went through the process, the full-time academy, field training, and was on his own, it was approximately a year. And I just wanna make sure that I get this conversation started now, because even if we get the thumbs up from the voters, you know, it may take us a year and a half to even fill that position. So it's kind of in line with, you know, our justification with the cars when we talked about that before, it's the lead time of finding people. So I did put two different options, suggested options on the last page. Really, you know, looking at this and considering where we are staffing wise and our current personnel, I would really suggest and ask for the board's support on option one, which would be on or about October 1st of 2024, trying to get that position started. So if that was approved, we would probably start advertising in June or July, with the hopes of getting someone through our vetting process, which, as the board knows, we've had instances where we've gotten people through that, no problem, and then other times, you know, we run into issues and we have to go back to the drawing board. But I know we've taken the approach before, 2014, 2018, those are the two times I've been here when we've added full-timers. We try to phase it in, so it's not a huge impact on the tax rate and on taxes. And I think this is a good compromise to accomplish that.
And we're losing potentially two full part-timers,
Yeah, I don't have an exact time frame on that.
but they're retirement eligible now, correct?
They are, and I just wanna make sure that I'm proactive, because even if, I mean, you're talking essentially a year from now, trying to fill that position, but if we hire someone who's not certified, you could be talking, you know, almost 2 years from now, by the time someone's actually on the road, so. I know I hammer on proactivity a lot, and I really would be remiss if I didn't.
And I hate to go down the path which we just been down, where you're so short, you can't, I mean, you're paying your overtime line was crazy.
And that's just it, you'll see, and I know that the board's aware of all this, but just to, you know, to hammer on this stuff, you know, when we went from 5 down to 4, when Ralph retired, it was very tight. And we went from 4 down to 3, when Jason went to another agency, we were critical. Our guys, myself included, were very burnt out, and I didn't know if our current staff was gonna make it. Meaning, are they gonna go to another agency, are they gonna weather the storm, are they gonna get out altogether? Fortunately, we have very resilient people that work at the police department, and we all banded together, but going from 5 down to 4, 4 down to 3, it's really tight. And 6, if we went from 6 to 5, we can really maintain the services that the residents have come to know and expect. But it's just, we've reached a point in town, we are busy. The residents expect the level of services that we've really tried to provide, and the agency that we've tried to become. And this would allow us to maintain and build upon that. But also, you know, in my mind's eye as the, you know, department head, I'm always thinking, God forbid, what if one of our officers gets hurt? What if they're out for an extended period of time? You know, these are all things that we think about. Right now, we have 2 officers that are sick. So we're trying to figure out how are we gonna fill these stopgaps. So these are just all things that go into this request. I think it's reasonable, given it was 6 years ago when we added a person. And if you look at some of these other communities, you know, generally
So right now, your proposal does not have the $27,000 listed with it?
it does not, because my presumption would be if the board puts this on the warrant, it would just be a standalone warrant article like we've done in the past.
So the voters could chime in on it?
That's right, yeah, this is not part of my actual budget proposal itself.
Chris, my only issue with it is, as you know, last year we had a pretty good increase in town taxes.
Yes, yep.
You know, average house went up between $600 and $1,200.
Mhm.
Most of them being $800 or $1,000, and, you look at that tax impact, you look at the year before that, the tax impact for the people in Dunbarton, because we're a bedroom town, when there are no businesses, is getting to be pretty substantial. Most of that was on the school side, the town side, we've been pretty tight, as you know.
Yep.
Trying to keep everything level with level services. But we have a couple other departments that have some good-sized needs here. And I like to put the departments kinda like 1 per year.
Mhm.
And I know that we have only 1 full-time employee, as you know, in our highway department. And because of our plowing needs and some of these guys retiring,
Mhm.
no younger people taking over
Right.
big trucks to do roads, we're gonna end up having to do something in that department, I believe. And, you're gonna combine that with a couple other things coming up pretty large from the fire department this year. That we know are coming in his proposals, cause we've been working over them the last year with them. So, I understand where you're coming from, if I was your, as a department head,
Yeah.
I'd be coming with the same proposal, because you need to get it. When I read through this, I was glad you gave us two options, cause I was leaning closer to the option number two, only for the simple fact that I know we have to spread these things out over so many years, because the tax impact will be too great.
Right.
Cause I'm worried, once we do have a person there, your budget, your overall budget's gonna be up, you know, $80,000 or $90,000 a
That's
year
right.
overall.
But if you did option two, you'd have to start recruiting probably in 2024.
Potentially, it's just the big, I think the thing that's unique to the police department, and I certainly sympathize with other town departments that need people, it's the lead time.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
If you wanna target April 1st, that means you're gonna have to start in the fall of 2024, looking.
Right, and again, if we find someone for April 1, you're probably talking 2026 by the time they're in a car. You know, and that to me is just, I think that stretches us too thin for too long, quite frankly, and I certainly understand, the needs of other, town departments, I think October, if we can do that, you know, that would at least allow us to start recruiting in sometime in the summer, but still phase out, at least try and mitigate that tax impact as best we can. And even if we kick it out to, you know, November, you know, to shave off another month, something like that, but it's just, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Law enforcement's so competitive, as the board knows, so.
Right, I mean, even CDL drivers, we can't find those, you know,
That's right.
whether it's for the transfer station or for the highway department, so even that person is gonna be hard to find as well.
Yeah.
But times are turning around a little bit, some of these town jobs, I think are, when the economy changes here a little bit, it's gonna be,
Sure.
you know, come back to having a need for them, so. We'll definitely look at it, I think, with all of our budgets as we
course.
combine. I wanted to let you know right up front.
Absolutely, I appreciate
You
it.
know, the other things in the other departments that we're
Sure.
kind of discussing, and we'll roll along here. You know, we can keep it somewhat level for the townspeople, that's what we're gonna try and do.
Yeah, understood.
Just because the impact is, we're gonna get some heat.
Yeah,
On
without a
any of the
doubt,
things when we go to town,
I'll
we
get,
get
tarred and feathered, I'm sure.
Yeah, same thing, we'll have to look at the whole budget, the budget overall, and
Sure.
all the departments all together and see. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're talking about bringing a warrant article to the voters, so the voters essentially will decide that adding that,
Yeah, but you gotta decide if you're gonna put your name below it.
I understand that, but
So
I'm
that's
just
the
saying
best.
that at the end of the day,
I thought
the town will vote.
I thought your proposal was very thorough and gave us some options, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
and I appreciate the board's time.
Yeah, and give us time to digest it and read through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is, you're being proactive, A+.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Are
thank
there
you
any
very
other
much.
questions about the budget
No,
proposal?
looks good.
If we have questions as we deliberate the budget, we'll definitely call you in.
Okay,
And
thank you
we
so much.
appreciate you keeping your other budget as close to, you know, the number as you.
Thank you. I appreciate the board's time, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Dunbarton Library trustee proposal for 2024, come on down.
Come on down. He's a hard act to follow. Mike too.
Thank you.
And I think Lean emailed me a little bit ago, and I think I made a mistake with that bottom line.
Oh, okay.
So,
Do we have her budget here, Lean, is that?
I
It's
did
just-
print.
look, underneath,
Underneath the sheet.
Underneath
Yeah.
this, it's there.
I emailed her, but I think the bottom line.
So the
number-
question I asked you got your brain working a little
It,
bit.
the,
Okay.
yeah, the number we're asking for is 120, 566.
Oh.
That's what we need from the town, but the
Yes.
total budget is the 123,566.
Okay, and that was my question too, cause I did, the spreadsheet's a little confusing.
Where's the 120 way up top?
Yes,
Okay.
And what was the dollar amount again?
125.66.
566.
Because I don't have that in front of me, I thought. it was
and that's, prior to knowing what we're gonna have at the end of the year. You
What?
can hear me right here, right? We don't know what we're gonna have at the end of the year, so we'll reduce that once we know what that number is.
Can't give
So
us
we
the
don't
numbers
have
for it.
last year's budget here?
He wants you to keep a couple.
We haven't spent it yet.
So we don't have one of these.
I have, yes, I gave you one, it's got
That's
trash
right.
at the bottom. It's a single number, that's why
That's
her
right here.
breakdown is a little different.
Oh,
from
it's
what-
over here?
Yeah.
I was looking for,
Okay,
There's
good.
one account.
Continue, Mary.
Oh, okay. Time went by fast this year, for sure. It was a great year, and not really, I'm glad to see the last 3 years behind us. Our summer reading program theme said it best, we're finally all together now. Our numbers so far this year, not finished yet, are above and beyond the last few years, obviously, not unexpected. Traffic usage, checkouts, downloads, all way up, as well as our attendance to all the programs that we've run. We've seen a number of new families attend story time, which for us is a very indicative of our town's growth. We received 2 New Hampshire Humanities grants this year and brought in some very good presenters, I thought. And since the opening of the Upper Town Hall, we've held most of our programs up there, adult and children.
you like it then?
We've utilized all of the technology up there so far. One thing that we did do this year was we changed banks. We moved our checking and saving accounts to higher yielding, and got very good interest. We have kind of a structured, laddered structured CD, so we have access to our savings every 3 months. So it was really well worth our effort, I think, and, the interest acquired is going really into our Charles A. Little Legacy accounts, which we use specifically for capital improvements.
Okay.
For this coming year, due to increased usage, all subscriptions to our various databases and our support contracts will all increase. Not a whole heck of a lot, but they will all increase. The health trust, is slated to increase about 15% this year. The rest of my draft budget is all, on the other line items, is all level funded.
Okay.
You have the 3% COLA in there?
Again, it doesn't apply, it's, the board of trustees determines their own rate of BP. They usually follow us, but they determine their own determinants. Okay, gentlemen, any other questions from Mary?
No,
I think it's
very-
straightforward.
Very close to last year, thank
Thank
you.
you
Yes,
very
it
much.
is very close to,
And I just wanna say thank you for what you do, I mean,
Well-
it's still, you've returned, the library has returned as the hub of the community.
well, it's been, we made it.
And the thing is,
I feel tired
Oh.
sitting here, it's like,
but the thing is, I think through the whole construction process of the
Yeah.
renovation, you were diligent in
We
keeping,
made it.
you did, and
it
it
was
was,
experience.
it was a credit to your
Yeah.
your efforts. So,
Thanks.
I have
thank you.
some good news today, Jim called me and said the levers are shipping from the factory next week. So Yale supposedly has fixed the problem with the levers and Jim's gonna come and install them.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
good. Yeah,
Of course, we had to find out they were defective.
well, yeah, good,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, great, have a great evening, thank you for being,
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, any questions, you know where to find us.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
Okay, the cemetery trustee, proposal.
She wants to go out of order because of the public hearing.
I'm sorry?
Can we go out of order?
Yes, gentlemen, we are gonna go, we have a public hearing to accept a grant, we have to do that, this follow the schedule here for 7:45. So the thing is, we have a one-time highway grant payment of $29,347.89. And with no restrictions, I understand, no sunset clause,
That's correct, does not expire.
Does not
It's gonna
expire.
be reserved in a
Can carry
separate
it
fund.
forward.
okay, and, restrictions?
Highway Department.
Highway department,
That's,
yep.
yeah, that's it,
It's designed to supplement the budget,
yes.
not in lieu of your budget.
This is a one-time payment, it's separate from your regular quarterly payments from the state.
Yes, it is.
And so we got about 29,000 and change.
So we can't reduce your budget?
No,
That's not the intention.
it's non-lapsing.
I'm not saying that you can't, but I will be disappointed because the intent of the money. We've got the same, I don't know exactly how it works its way down to us, but I think in the beginning it was part of the infrastructure bill that was passed at the federal government level, and we got some last year. And Lean and I thought that was gonna be it, but with our surprise, we got another little chunk this year.
I'll second your motion, Lee.
Okay, we have the check link,
Yes, right
Okay.
there.
I have a copy of it, yeah, I love
If
it.
the other one's beneath it,
Yeah.
it's going to the next one.
Then, any further discussion, gentlemen, on this? Any discussion?
I think it's wonderful.
It is, thank you. All
I
in
mean,
favor?
it's not free, cause somebody's paying for it, whereas
We're taxpayers.
But it's
Direct-
spread out across the board over there.
Exactly. It's a return of our taxpayers' dollars back to
Yes.
Dunbarton.
Exactly.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a second one also, we wanna accept a bridge payment of $13,507.19. And the thing is, the following is a one-time bridge payment being made available to town based upon the House Bill 2, effective July 2023. It directs the department to divide and distribute 10 million one-time payment to all New Hampshire municipalities that own bridges per state definitions. Because we own that nice little bridge, the Memorial Bridge,
Yeah.
So you don't have to use this just on bridges?
the thing is, it shall be used to supplant locally budgeted and approved funds for bridge maintenance or indoor construction. No funds appropriated under this section shall be used to supplement okay. Essentially,
It's
you
that
use
same-
anything,
Yeah, statement.
I'll second that.
okay,
I'll third it.
okay, any further discussion?
I was thinking the last one was the last one, but maybe this is the last one.
Okay,
They
exactly.
do keep going down.
Do you know what was the first one we got this year?
87 or 89
That was last year.
last
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
It was last year.
Didn't we get one in the previous, part of
We-
this year?
Last year we got two, and I'm just gonna round it off. It's a quick number. One was for 80 something and one was for 40 something.
Right, 49 and, yep, it's correct.
And what I used that money for, the 80, was to supplement the paving.
Yeah.
To add to more paving than what we had.
I thought we earmarked something from earlier this year for just highway alone.
Yeah, but this payment of $13,000 can only be used for, maintaining the bridge.
Yeah.
And so it can, non-lapsing, so you can, if you don't use it this year, 5 years from now, we can still use it. So it's a good, and then we're not the way you have a huge bridge. And for the public, it's the bridge that goes along, what road again?
It's a little more than that. Any span that's over 10 feet is considered a bridge.
Okay.
There's a large culvert pipe on Grapevine Road,
Which needs
Bill
attention.
which isn't technically the bridge that you think of mentally,
Yeah.
but it fits that criteria as
Okay.
a bridge.
Okay, the motion's on the table, all in favor?
And the one stock.
Aye.
You have now some more money in your budget.
Yep,
All right,
thank you.
you're welcome. And,
That it?
I believe so,
Good?
I think we're good.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks for your
snows,
support.
the snow season's coming.
Yeah, it is.
And,
Is it?
Eventually we will get some. So far, we're enjoying.
In March.
We're enjoying what we have right now.
No, but we have elections in January, so we gotta be prepared, you know? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll close that public hearing referencing the acceptance of the monies. We'll go back to the cemetery trustee budget.
Yep. So,
Where's that one?
Okay.
right in your packet.
The packet right there, small one.
Somebody sent me a picture.
Spreadsheet.
laying on the ground.
Hold everything.
It's right at the bottom, I can see.
There it is.
Okay, Justin, you gonna speak to it?
Yep, so, what we've done is kept our budget flat, still at the $24,400 that we budgeted for last year. We did have an additional $835, but from this year's budget, but we did use that for one of our licenses, for our Sims mapping services. So we'll have some additional money in there. But we are planning to do a few projects within the cemetery, including, some erosion control in, East Cemetery. So we did just move around some numbers here, just to account for that, and,
Will you be returning a few dollars to the, as surplus, I mean, as,
no, the $835 is being used towards our mapping, our Sims mapping.
Got it, okay,
So that'll basically use up the whole entire budget of 2023,
very good.
so.
Dave, any questions?
Nope, we love it, keep it, doesn't hurt to go down sometimes.
Not based on everybody else.
Okay. We have, someone from Community Power here to speak to us about energy.
Yes,
And,
Bob Hayden is here.
Oh, okay, great.
I recognize that guy, come to the hot seat.
Hey, how's it
And-
going?
Good,
And Dana, come on up behind him, so. for a few more
Great to see you all.
good to see you before the holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, have a Merry Christmas. Sounds like you guys are always on the gun for budget stuff. I've been to a few of these lately, and it's the same story from town to town all over.
You're coming to help us out with
Thank
that, right?
Well, you're residents, hi,
Sure.
this is one that doesn't cost anything. Thanks, be soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's Dana?
Very good, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, same to
Nice to meet you.
you.
I think
We
have.
did,
okay.
yeah,
All right. It's been a while.
yes. We've spoken on the phone, so I'll introduce myself too, Dana Lavoy from the Dunbarton Energy Committee.
And this is Mr.,
I'm Bob Hayden from Standard Power,
okay, for the record, I just wanna make it easy
Thank
for my
you.
transcriber.
or Robert Hayden. So, we talked about community power quite a few months ago,
I recall.
and, it was suggested that we could wait till the end of the year to do it. And at the time, when we were talking in the spring, we could have had a very luxurious timeline. Now that we're hoping to have this in the warrant article, have a warrant article for community power to enable it, we would be on an aggressive timeline. But it's still possible for this town meeting. And we have a couple of towns who are contemplating the same thing.
I think you'd have like 3 public hearings for yours, is that not right?
2 public hearings prior, and then 1 when the plan's about to launch.
Okay.
And then there are several other milestones of approvals that have to occur too. So I would suggest that if Dana's committee wants to be the aggregation committee to do this, we will need to meet regularly in the interim between now and town meeting. But it is possible, it's doable. We did this timeline last year with both Jaffrey and Wilton. And we started both of those after Christmas. And we've had plenty of time, got all the work done, got everything in place. And currently, Wilton was one of the first towns to have a plan. And Jaffrey is under contract for a March start, March or April, depending on when the meetings are. So, the timeline is possible. Standard Power has been involved in this program, you know, since its inception, and been involved in the legislative process right along. Well, I got a question. Do you want me to take half an hour, or do you want me to take 10 minutes?
10 minutes, please. Fight is easy.
I understand, I know, but it's already late for you all. How long have you been here, gentlemen?
We've been about an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No.
So if we go into the next page, there's a little picture of New Hampshire that shows the towns that we're working with currently. And we make it a very high priority to work with small towns along with big towns. Gary's a big town we're working with, but towns that are a little ahead of you for town meeting include Lineborough, Bennington, Greenfield, all here in the neighborhood. Larger towns include Derry and Pelham and Windham. So those are towns that will be going to town meeting. The prices we've had are on the next page, and that shows what our plans have been for the group of 4, which includes the cheapest rate of 11.1 cents, The default, which includes extra renewable, 10% extra renewable energy is 11.47 cents. And then there were also options to choose 50 or 100% renewable at 12 and almost 14 cents. The most important thing to me in this conversation of description is what community power is and isn't. Your utilities still send the bills. They still fix the wires. They still take care of transmission and all of the distribution. What we change is one line on the bill. That's the line that defines the electricity supply. And that would, instead of your utility, Eversource, or is Unitil your other?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
There's two.
no, Unitil only does part of the town, and then
right,
Public Service does the other.
yeah. So whether it's the Unitil bill or the Eversource bill, it would just say Dunbarton Community Power for that one line on the bill. So that's all it changes. So it's not that big of a change, but it can mean $20, $15, $20 a month in savings.
Well, right now, but when they double their rates there in a couple of months, then it's gonna,
Well, it was a dime then.
Yeah.
When we started, it was huge. It was a whole dime
yeah.
of savings. So 1/3 on the bill. So someone was paying 300 to $100 off.
Right.
But it's tightened up a little.
It is, but it's gonna go back up. So
Eventually.
6 months is over.
That's someone posted online today that Eversource was going down, do you know anything?
They're going
about
down to
that?
$8.29 February
Eight.
1st.
Is that the number?
Eight
Yes,
cents.
$8.29.
That's per
Eight,
megawatt.
8.29.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a megawatt, so yeah. Yeah, so we already knew Unitil was going down. The
We're at
market is going
13
down.
and a half.
What's that?
We're at 13 and a half.
Well, the first plan is, we're looking at ways to blend that in new power to bring the rates down for that first group. So the market has been down, we're at a 5-year high on how much natural gas is in storage. Natural gas is the primary driver of electricity costs. So we have a glut, and as long as the weather stays warm, we'll continue to have a glut. We've surveyed 25 towns for what people want. There's a fair measure of all of our utilities and who supplies them. And people tend to want the same things. Getting on to page, ones with the charts. The green chart shows that folks want more renewable energy if they can. And the top shows that, surprise, surprise, 87% of people across 25 towns want lower rates.
Surprise.
Surprise. And if we can't deliver that, say the utilities have a magic rate for 6 months. If we can't deliver it, we'll wait till the market allows us to deliver savings. So it's possible.
In other words, your rate will be higher than what Eversource would charge?
We wouldn't start a plan if it were like that.
Okay, in other words, it's looking like it's gonna come to fruition. I mean, they were putting out the PR today.
So the PR was coming out today. I haven't seen it in print anywhere what the numbers are. I did see the Unitil one, but that just probably means I can still buy electricity a penny cheaper than they're gonna sell it at.
Okay.
So normally, we have a longer term than the 6 months they do. And that usually gives us a better price. And that's,
You was what, 30 months or so?
the first group was 30. We did another group which is, New Boston, Milford, and Jaffrey, that only went for 20 months because that was, made sense price-wise for them. So we have that flexibility of term, and when we come to you or your designated signer, which is probably your town administrator, she gets the pleasure of being part of the other town administrators or managers who pick the term and which price of term based on start date they want. So even though it's a little town, you still get full representation in the choices that go along with this. The committee does all the work of preparing everything and having a plan ready to submit to the PUC that you gentlemen approve. And then you appoint somebody to be the designated signer, which would normally be your town administrator.
Just, one of the things that kind of stuck in my craw last time was that it's an opt-out plan. In other words, everyone gets switched regardless if they wanna do it or not, then you have to opt out.
Well, they have choices. They can make an active choice.
Okay.
So when the plan is ready to go,
Right,
we send a card, very simple card saying, hey, watch your mail for a letter from the town and your utility,
okay,
giving you the options for selecting your community power plan.
okay.
That letter only goes to folks who are eligible.
Then we're getting bills,
No, it's more than that.
okay?
Getting bills and not on an existing third-party supply
Correct,
contract.
understood.
Okay, so once they get the first mailing, they know the letter's coming, hopefully they pay attention. In that letter, they get the choice to decline, to stay with the utility.
Okay,
They get the choice of options that the committee selects. And then they get a choice that's chosen by the committee if they do nothing. So if they do nothing,
they're changed by the committee's choice becomes their choice.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Exactly. And, of the 8 towns we've launched, 7 of them chose to add some renewable energy to that mix over the renewable portfolio standard.
right. But
And
if,
the town of Milford
right.
chose to have the lowest price possible.
Right, I'm saying like, if the majority want lowest price possible, and then I would like renewables, if I'm not paying more, sure, I'll go for that.
Right, but that might just mean it's, a little bit less as opposed to.
Right, but that's a personal decision that every
Yeah.
household can make.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, if,
Well, no, once the town.
once the
makes
town
a
goes to decision, right,
That's the
that's the
rate
plan.
the town has.
You alluded
For a
to,
default,
for a
but
default,
there's still the choices, there's always choices.
Each owner will make that choice?
Yeah, each individual household will have the option to make those choices, including.
If they
didn't
don't choose anything.
See,
they
I
get
didn't
the
understand
default.
the first time, I thought that they all went on that default, which was the rate that the town had picked.
No, they get the mailing and they get 30 days to send it back if they make a choice. If they do nothing, they get whatever the chosen default is, but they have the 4 choices right now. Stay with the utility,
right,
cheapest rate possible,
good,
50% renewable, 100% renewable.
perfect, good explanation.
Yep.
I got a question for the audience, go ahead.
So, but to understand, the delivery charges will remain
With the utility.
with your bill, your utility.
Yeah, your
Unitil,
utility still
Eversource.
does the T and D.
Yeah, Unitil, Eversource, or whoever it is.
Yep,
right.
transmission, distribution, fixes the wires, when the
Right.
pole goes
So-
down,
so-
they
so-
still come.
Yeah, so you're still gonna get that bill,
Yes, and one line on the bill changes,
right?
and that would say Dunbarton Community Power.
Okay, now I'm on a third-party supplier.
You wouldn't be eligible until you're off
Right,
that.
But when I'm off that, is that open up that eligibility?
The next month, you get the mail.
Okay, all right, so I just didn't know if you had to wait a certain time, or, okay, yeah,
All right,
And that's automatic, so same thing, I'm on a third party too.
Yeah.
yeah.
So as soon as I click back over,
So
You guys
there's
will
a meter
automatically
read where
send it.
you're on your last meter read, where you
Yeah.
have it. The next meter read, we find out you don't have it, and then we send you the mailing.
okay,
You can be aggressive and say, oh, I'm off on this date, I wanna join right now. So you could be proactive, but most people probably wouldn't be.
And we could, we can choose what program we're talking about, it's just saying here, you.
Yeah, those are choices.
Yeah, okay, so it's not like I'm stuck with whatever's picked,
No,
Correct,
okay.
you get to pick.
now, the thing is, you alluded to, if we made a decision to go forward with this, you'd like to have more time than you, I mean, you said January 1st, you could make it happen at town meeting for us.
Yeah.
Okay, with all the community,
Which the committee,
right,
the committee's integral in this.
okay. And in the event that, this manna from heaven that's coming down from public service, or sorry, it's the 829 rate, which is, I think, compared to the 1239 they have listed, you have listed here, we would just wait, you recommend waiting?
Oh, yeah.
Until that fades away in the summer?
Yeah, well, we're pricing right now on things and the prices are low, so that's why I say for the first group, which has the lowest price of 11 cents,
Right,
we might grab some power at 7.5 cents and add a year and bring it down to, say, 9 cents.
Got it, okay.
I don't have
If they want.
Eversource, has Eversource already gone to the reduced rate?
No, it'll be February 1st.
Right, so
You'll still be 12.
Unitil is before Eversource.
They just went on the same schedule recently.
Well, I just got a reduced rate.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, sorry.
Okay, I
The
got one,
last 2 months I've been on a
On
reduced rate
Unitil?
in Unitil.
got one more question from the gentleman right here.
Yeah, so you're a private enterprise,
Yes, sir, my company's Standard Power.
okay, but what happens, all come, so you guys go belly up, so where's everybody left here?
So, the electricity's purchased from a third-party supplier.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle, I'm a broker. So I get bids from all of the suppliers who will bid into this market. If we get a rate we want, then we launch the plan. If I go belly up, nothing happens.
yeah,
I just run out of money. The third-party supplier, national level companies that have weathered all kinds of energy storms, price craziness, Texas craziness when they had their energy problems, those are the size companies that we use to provide the supply for this. They could go belly up.
yeah.
If they went off the plan, if they couldn't serve it, you'd go right back to the utility.
So how can Eversource not, or Unitil, whoever, not outbid you guys? And,
Because they bid for short terms.
yeah,
They buy a 6-month chunk.
okay,
And that's expensive because all of the possible risks associated with that 6 months get layered into it. If you have a longer period of time,
is that regulated by PUC, they can only do 6 months, or?
yes, sir.
So how come you guys can do different then?
Because we're a broker and we work with third-party suppliers, usually the same suppliers that Eversource and Unitil work with.
Yeah,
And so we're not regulated to be a 6-month contract, they are.
We have a town meeting once a year.
Yes, sir.
Let's say, price is, you can't even come close to the price, and you say it's the best deal. I wanna be able to, not wait a whole year for another town meeting. I wanna make sure the warrant we do is worded in a sense
Oh, yeah.
that we can have the option to go 6 months from now if the prices are right.
Yeah, I mean, we can,
You see where I'm going with this?
you kind of generically have that right. Once you approve a plan, it doesn't say you have to launch
You
immediately.
have to execute on it.
You don't have to execute immediate,
Okay.
those words don't exist.
Lastly, one dumb question, I may have asked it before, I have two categories of people. How does it impact people with solar panels on their house? And I have Energy Smart System, in other words, they can shut me off, at least Eversource could shut me off, and how does that affect the?
The Eversource programs remain. So if it's assistance or a smart
Right.
program, those still exist, and this discounted supply rate goes on the bill.
Okay.
In the case of net metering, for people who have solar on their homes, this is one of the most important things to us. We do not just say you can't be eligible. One of our competitors just says the utility doesn't have enough data for us, so they just won't even write them. We give individual counsel to the people who have net metering programs or solar on their house.
Okay,
And tell them or ask them questions about what their priorities are, and just tell them all the variables and allow them to make an informed choice. So we
you haven't
spend
cut
time-
them, you're not cutting them out, in other words.
We are not cutting them out, they are still eligible, but my house, it would be ridiculous for me to be on a community power plan. Because the utility rate is always higher, we won't launch unless we're lower,
Right,
and I make 115% of my electricity, so they have to give me money over the bill.
you don't wanna become any plan, you wanna stay where you are,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
alright, that's important, alright.
Can I have your 15?
Question, okay,
Your 15% extra.
alright, do we need it?
Oh.
Dana, do you have anything,
Just kidding.
any comments from you? I think I need to rely on you here a little bit here.
So right now, we haven't been coalesced as an energy committee I'm here to kind of support
Okay,
what
well,
he's
you,
saying.
as your personal point of view,
Yeah, no, I believe this is the right thing to proceed with. So many towns are doing it. It provides the citizens the flexibility, as long as they read their postcards, and to do whatever they want. They can stay as it is, they can choose one of these plans. I think that there's probably only equal to or goodness in going to something like community power. It gives more choices. There are people, it sounds like, have already gone to third-party power.
Absolutely.
You and obviously you've taken that initiative to do that. This kind of, helps the people who might not actually be even taking that, initiative to save them some money. I do believe this is a money-saving option for the
It
residents
will be
of town.
something on the budget that is a savings.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is the time frame. You could switch to this for 30 months and know your power cost for that 30 months.
If we have a
Where
30
right now, every
That's right.
6 months it's changing, so.
And you have no idea what it's gonna be 6 months
And in the
from
middle
now,
of the
right?
winter, you get
Well,
these
look what
high rates.
Unitil was last
Yeah.
winter, 25.9 cents.
And you get these high rates in the middle of the winter, and then they go back down when you don't need the, the winter's when you need the lower rates, but that's not when you get them.
Right.
So the thing is that whatever rate you decide for us, hopefully if it can be below 8 cents, we're gonna sign up for a long time.
Well, I would encourage you to do that. If we get like 7, 8, I would encourage you to look at
Exactly.
over 20 months, 24, maybe even 30. I start getting iggy after 24, or excuse the
One-
terminology, but I get concerned over 24 months.
One more question.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I have that third party,
Direct?
supplier. Yes, I'm paying just over 8 cents.
Yep,
It was for 3 years,
yep, good deal.
and I came back, get out whenever I want.
So that's the supplier we used for the Keene, for the 4 towns with
Oh,
Green
right,
Keene.
yeah.
Direct has been wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
They've been
Yeah,
wonderful.
I've been with them before,
Yep.
but then they offered me the 3-year deal. So where's the town come in here then? That's what I don't understand.
The
here.
law, RSA 53E, says the community has to vote on it to approve it. It also says that there needs to be a committee to do some of the legwork and look at the options and develop a plan.
How did I get on direct without the town being involved?
Well, that's totally different.
Oh, okay.
Cause you're an individual.
For the
making
last,
that
yeah, for the
choice.
last 18
Right, I
years.
just don't understand why you just can't come to me and ask me without bothering with the town.
Because I don't wanna talk to you,
Oh, thanks.
one at a time.
Right, there's not enough.
Yeah,
He wants to
There's
get
not
all
enough
household.
economy of
Okay,
scale.
so you're trying to hit the big pocket of people versus one-on-one.
yes.
It's a lot more,
Yes.
cost effective that way.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
So we would
I'm
make
just curious.
we would make a quarter a month on your house,
thanks.
a quarter, and that's if you use a lot of electricity. It might only
I don't.
okay, so it might only be 8 or 9 cents. At the rates we could charge.
Next step.
Sir, next step. This is the memorandum of understanding, and I may have left you one last time. It's a 1-page document. And we do a 1-page document because we want it to be essentially a paper handshake. It's not a binding document. It's cancelable at any time. And we do that because we believe in ourselves and the work we do. So we do not have an onerous document for anybody to sign until we actually buy the electricity. That document is 38, 39 pages, depending on the supplier. And that bears review, significant review. This, we do a lot of business on memorandums of understanding, because we're a broker. We don't make money until we bring you the contract to buy electricity, whether it's a big business, whether it's a community, whether it's a bunch of communities.
Okay, I need some drop dead dates now.
Do we have some assemblage of people who would be interested in doing this? Do you have 3 other folks who will join you into a committee?
Well, he has the whole energy committee.
Oh, you have an energy committee?
We do have an energy.
It still exists, okay, so,
Yes.
We have 2 members right here in the room.
I'm the selectman's rep on the energy committee.
cool. Alright, cool. So, I would say it would be appropriate to sign that this month,
Okay.
this month.
Gotcha.
This for-
That authorizes us to proceed with,
Negotiation.
Scheduling.
starting to work with.
But as you'll see, there's no commitment there, and you can tell Bob to go away anytime you choose to. If you decide you don't wanna work with me, it's your call,
Understood.
at any time.
Okay, and the next date would be, you have public hearings?
We would, the first meeting with the committee, we would bring them a schedule that an open schedule where we would try to slot in dates for all of the steps that go along with the program.
Okay,
We would also bring a sample plan,
so they're not starting from scratch,
correct,
okay?
and we would bring a sample survey. And we would encourage some mechanism to do a survey,
What's the purpose of the survey?
to get the voice of the community built into the plan.
In other words, the options that we would wanna present.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Now, we have over 2,500 respondents now across the state. And the data I showed
I saw
you
that, yeah.
is rather smooth. It doesn't vary much from town to town, so, you know, the committee could say, oh,
Is that is that a
No.
requirement?
no, it's a standard power preference.
Okay,
We like doing it.
okay,
So if you had a mailing list or an email list in town that you used from anywhere, the library, any department that would host a mailing or a.
we have a mailing
email.
list.
Yeah, we would wanna send it out to any email lists we could get.
Not email, but it'd be.
And could we post it on our website?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course, we always look to the committee, you guys.
Okay.
The town clerk is reluctant to share her email list.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, but the snail mail would be the other option.
Yeah, that gets expensive, but.
It does, because we, town reports every year.
Yeah,
Okay, and so a decision made, this month we sign this, we have a meeting with the energy group, energy committee.
we have it,
Yeah,
You-
I understood,
okay,
and
with
then,
your-
the next step, was that we have a March town meeting.
Yeah, we would be online with that, we have sample warrant articles prepared already,
That's
Okay.
good.
with sample language for the explanation,
Okay, can you forward that to this young lady over here?
as soon as we do this.
Absolutely, understood,
So we already have language, we're ready to go with that on your behalf with
okay,
several choices.
understood,
We would, at the first meeting, we would schedule public hearings, we would discuss mechanisms for doing a survey if they're inclined to do that, and we would start executing after that with that first meeting.
okay. Could a public hearing, be a source of, surveys?
If we did one real early, sure. Sure,
Vote of hands, you know, give the
Yeah,
options.
right.
yeah, we'll print out as many as you want.
Yeah, I'm saying that might be a quick way of doing it too. If you get more than 10 people in the room.
If we can get a turnout for it.
Well, we also have had good results just putting a stack in the library, in any town building,
School, there's,
that's up to your superintendent, but we would do anything like that.
They pay electricity bills too.
Well, they may be on a separate.
They may be on it,
Yeah,
yeah, I think so.
I think they might,
Most of
They
them.
went full somehow.
yeah, I think they might be on third party
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
already.
I think, because we looked at, with the
Yes.
panels, yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at Jaffrey right now, what they
Okay.
wanna do, their contract
Alright.
is like close.
Now, tonight, anything else you need to tell us?
Um,
We have decisions to make, that's the bottom line.
So, I would just say that we treat our tiny towns the same way we treat our big towns.
Okay,
And we're just as proud to work with every community there is, including, and I'll use the example again, towns that will be launching at town meeting, there's 15 of them.
already, for this,
But 3 of them are Greenfield, Bennington, and Lineborough. And Francistown is one of the towns that might be jumping on along with you.
okay.
You said, right now you do New Boston now,
Yes, they have an approved plan,
and Goffstown or not Goffstown?
not Goffstown yet.
So who else in that approved town? New Boston, Milford?
So the first group was Keene, Swansea, Marlborough, and Wilton. The second group was Milford, New Boston, and Jaffrey. We have approved plans for Derry, Allenstown,
Candia,
a few others, and then we have a group of about 15,
in the planning
12
stage.
that are in the process right now.
And you think this March, you only have the 3 you were talking about, maybe 4?
No, those are just examples of small towns.
Oh, okay. But one of the things that could help here in terms of the town, view of this is that we get to leverage the economies of scale of some of the larger
Yeah,
participants
that's a great question.
for purchasing. So our little town actually would get,
You would buy-
onto Wyndham and Derry and,
Exactly,
you know, the purchasing power
The
of
bigger,
all of
the
those.
bigger his company, it's a win-win for us.
Absolutely.
The number is a number, 100 million kilowatt hours, that's what we wanna get. This town is probably 6 million kilowatt hours
Okay.
for the residents. Maybe a little less because you have a lot of solars here. But, so maybe it's 5 million, so we would wanna pair you with 95 million other kilowatt hours.
So are you, when you come to buy after this period goes through, say there's 6 other towns that you're gonna purchase with, when you get to recycling those, are those 4 towns or 3 towns always gonna stay in your cycle, so you're only buying for them, or you don't know that quite yet?
It's too early to know.
Or will you get them all on one page eventually and be buying for?
I honestly don't know, I'll do what the market tells me to do, and
In
what
other words, the
town's
terms
market-
will be set by the market.
Yeah,
I mean, the length of the contracts will be determined by
the market action, yeah.
exactly.
Right now, the value of lesser cost is gone at 100 million kilowatt hours. I can't, it's not measurable anymore.
It seems to me over these last 2 years that these utility companies, meaning like Eversource or Unitil, plan on lowering the rates for 6 months and increasing them for 6 months, and
That's what
that's
they've
gonna
done,
be,
huh?
It's cyclical.
that's gonna
Yeah,
be
I mean, if you
cyclical
look-
from now on.
In this thing, on the next to last page, is an example of Somerville, Mass. And that shows exactly that, you're exactly right.
Which,
The blue
2
line
years
is
ago,
the-
it was never that way, and now we're in this cycle, and the PUCs are allowing it to happen, so.
Yeah, the
what's not
PUC
happening?
doesn't even question the rate, they only question the process.
Well, there was a change when they started allowing the charge for higher pricing in the winter.
So, really, as long as the utility follows the purchasing process,
They can't change.
they won't even argue the rate. The PUC won't even argue the number, they'll only look at the process.
One dumb question here. We've been hearing about the potential for blackouts and brownouts. If we've already pre-purchased the power through you, are we protected against blackouts and brownouts?
You bet, not any more protected than anybody else.
But the thing is, I'm not buying it through public service anymore, I'm buying it through you.
No, it's the same power.
Okay,
It's all the same power.
all right,
I'm buying it for a different term, I'm buying it at a different time, but the power on the grid is the power on the grid.
great. If the grids hurts, everyone hurts.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And the utilities get paid for transmission and delivery. They don't get paid for supply. So they don't even care about this.
Right.
Yeah, they're not out trying to negotiate or do anything. If the natural gas prices go up and they just say, oh, it's gonna be 25 cents a kilowatt hour, they just put that plan before
They
the
used to, but
PUC.
PUC won't defragment them companies, now they care nothing about it.
They do not.
As
They
your-
just want the process.
That's why they rebuild the
How-
power lines every year.
How old is your company?
Right,
Pardon me?
How old is your company?
11 years.
Profitable,
Yeah, we're profitable.
okay, and privately held?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just wanted,
Yep, we're owned
Get it.
by a company called Elevate Power.
okay,
I have recently, in the last year, given up my ownership interest. And, I will retire in 2 or 3 years.
okay. All right, do we have everything we need, you think?
Yes, sir.
I have two other questions that might
Absolutely.
actually just help. One, disclosure on your reason for doing this business is, if I recall, you get 0.1,
1/10 of 1 cent per kilowatt hour.
1/10 of one, yeah.
And one of our competitors gets 3%, which is like 3 or 4 tenths. So they have very luxurious leadership.
Right, right. So if he's able to get, you know, 8.8, we're gonna get 8.9.
Is exactly right.
So that's where his,
He's gonna make a living too.
that's where his value, comes in this, as far as where he's getting his operating
Yep,
expenses.
absolutely.
The other question I had, do we know how many solar homes are in town,
I'll be able to run a report.
approximately?
Actually, it's in the town report, because we have to
Cool.
report it to.
Seven,
Wait, that's, she's got that, Fred's got a question.
Yeah, when you have
It's
this
close to
public hearing, it is gonna be able to be explained in my age group, so we understand and not thinking we're getting sold some slick, or from
I
some slick.
think that, in other words, what he's saying, the public hearings have to be, 8th grade level, and I say 8th grade level with all due respect.
That's right,
No, we will.
'Cause I'm the old
Did you hear
school,
what he said, Fred?
yeah, I'm the old school,
Just,
that's right,
just
Well-
encourage folks to come to the
cause I'm
public hearing.
leery of change.
As am I, sir.
51 qualified.
Me
Well,
too.
When I say eighth grade level, I just wanna let, every army manual is written at eighth grade level for a reason.
The permits are quite.
I was in the Navy, so.
He's got 12th grade.
Sixth grade.
No, but the thing is, I agree with him, because this stuff can be confusing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, your spokesman, like, will it be you or a spokesman, another person coming with you? Probably you,
Probably, you're close to my house, this is a great
okay.
location for
But I agree,
I live in Lineborough.
yeah, it's gotta be simple enough that we have to digest it.
Yes, we do it over and over and over again, and sometimes we do extras. I did an extra one in Greenfield the other night for their volunteer fire department, it was great.
So typically, when you have a warrant article shows 0 impact to the tax rate and all that, you say you have some samples on your previous towns that you've been able to launch. What's your voter,
Approval rating?
Yay versus nay been on those warrant articles?
86%,
86?
yay.
Okay.
Thing is,
So it's not, yeah, it's not close
if we
to
put in an
being
article,
rejected.
Fred will laugh with me this, if it goes at the last article of the day, no problem.
Yeah.
What I like about this feature is I don't often have time during the year when the power is going up and down to shop it like I
To
should.
shop it, yeah, that's the
So
thing.
I just put it off and I end up paying the higher rate, cause I don't have time to do it.
Right.
Where when I'm retired, like Leo is, I'll take more time, but with this option here, I don't have to waste a lot of time doing it.
You know
I'm
what it's
gonna
gonna
see
be
that.
for 24 or 30 months or whatever.
Yeah, and it's gonna come to me spelled out and I can just check it and go on from there on the rest of my life, you know, I don't.
See, I like the idea of getting approved early, so at town meeting, and then as soon as we get that notifications going up from 8 cents to like 12 cents, we
Boom.
execute.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what I'd like to do is, I think because there's no commitment to this MOU, or, I think we should sign it, get the process started right now.
Justin?
Yeah, I think so too.
This is his second
But
time,
we can come out of it at any time, so.
we can come out of this
sign
anytime,
tonight.
if Dana meets with his committee and they say, hey, we want no part of this, hey, we're out of it.
I think it's a good idea for the town, I mean, I
I
don't
think
see.
Lean, go ahead and sign it.
Yeah, I'll need, is this is the only document that we
The
need?
only thing.
Just one person.
And you guys are appointing me as the contact person, is
Yes.
that what you're doing?
So
With the selectmen's approval, I'd say.
Oh, we have consensus, yeah.
I would also suggest, Lee, that the likelihood is you'll be the designated signer on by day.
Right, and that's typically what,
And
That's
then
how,
if we
that's how
need
it's
to
always.
let her go, cause she made a mistake, then we can.
Well, you could. But
It's on
considering
I'll be
there's no
right behind
cost to
you.
the town, to the,
Tar and feather you
The
at the
budget.
meeting.
it would be hard to do that.
We didn't wanna sign this, but look, she made us do it!
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Thank you, gentlemen. Anyway,
So Dana, the work is gonna be on your shoulders as everything is in the energy committee to
but the thing is,
get your group together.
I would say 3 people, 1, 2, and 1 other, then you can make the decisions. You don't need a.
we
Well,
could,
no,
we
I-
could blast
I'd like
through
to
that
have
way.
3
And I'll
people in the
scan
committee
it
and I just
so we
oversee
can-
it,
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
because they're more involved than I am typically.
I mean, I suppose, you know, worst case, if I can't get a committee person that's, I'll find someone in town.
If not, just tell me and
I'll find somebody.
how many members are on that committee?
Like 6?
Yeah, we have 6 right now.
But you know, some are active. some
Yeah,
aren't.
we've had some inactivity on
I
a
think
few of the
you've lost
positions.
1 or 2 maybe, right?
Yes,
Those are my favorite, one of my favorite committees, to be honest with
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
John Stevens?
you. Okay,
Well, yeah, so
any
we'll,
concerns, last minute concerns, are you good?
no, I'm good. I'm actually even, so I'll have more time. I'm retiring from my own business here, December 31st. So I do have, just to let you folks know, I'll have more time to spend for this after January.
good, cause I'll be leaning on you a lot.
Yeah.
So-
every time of the year.
Well, I guess-
Leaning, is that a joke?
Grab his communication and
Yeah.
get it
Seriously,
squared away.
put something else
I think
on
it's
my
something we should
plate.
put in front of the
Yeah.
voters and.
So, because you're on that committee.
Yeah.
When do you like meetings?
I don't like meetings.
Do you ever do anything in the day?
Oh yeah, I could do daytime meetings.
Oh, he doesn't do anything
He
during
can't.
the day.
Alright, that's what I
Daytime
would
meetings.
encourage. If we can do it in the mornings, I'll do them all.
Do you have a card for
Yeah,
Lean?
no problem at all. A lot of the people
I
on the
got my
committee are
gift
retired.
card.
Yeah,
And I will
And if
also
I need to be
take
the third
another
member,
clean
just let
copies
me
that
know.
were
It's
all
winter
in
time for
my
me now,
emails,
so
yeah. Maybe
Okay.
that's something I should put on the website.
I know you got my
a
stuff
good time for me
already.
to do it.
I really appreciate this, folks. I usually just walk away when it's signing time.
And, you know,
Thank you.
Dana has all our emails, so he'll be able to get you a group of us, so.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is too, is if Dana has these outlines like you gave, I just gonna give you these to bring to your committee.
Sure.
I've already gone
Oh,
through
that's
them.
okay, I'll bring a whole kit, I'll bring kits for the committee.
Okay, you
They'll
sure?
be a little more voluminous.
You don't want him to talk to the committee and get them up to
Oh, yeah,
speed
whatever you wanna
first?
do, but
Well, we have a meeting Monday night, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'll-
give him,
Yeah,
Or electronically would be
Yeah.
nice, just so that.
I do, you
yeah.
did send it to me
He has it,
electronically,
yeah.
I got a
Okay.
copy the
Oh,
other day
then
from him.
he's
take
good.
one, I'm gonna
So-
toss it, cause I've already got them.
Email me the time, I'll try to be there, or one of my teammates will be here for the Monday night thing.
You wanna do that Monday night?
Of course.
Okay, alright.
Thank you for coming in, Robert, again.
Oh, it's my pleasure, again, I told you, I live in the neighborhood.
That's-
Thank you very much. Take care,
See
happy
you.
holidays.
Yeah, you
Okay,
too.
thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, I know
Huh?
this conversation probably kept you here.
I just soon get it
Usually
started.
30 minutes.
Thank you.
Chief?
Yeah, I know.
It's alright, thank you, appreciate
Sorry,
it.
did I pick up the
Yeah.
signed contract?
The one that just left?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
check with
No,
Lean.
Lean was
Lean will
signing.
sign another
Do you
one.
have the
Yeah.
What's that?
contract?
Oh, you wanna take the original?
Yeah.
Yep. And then, the
Okay,
scan, so I'll
gentlemen,
put a
let's move
copy
on.
of it.
Thank you.
There you go.
Have a nice evening.
Town clerk,
Bob, send my payment to Montalona Road.
Yeah,
The 15%?
oh, okay, I got an agent, you're gonna do other town, as long as you'll do other towns, you're on board. I'll hire you, I'll hire, I'm always looking for somebody.
alright, we have a,
So we'll,
town clerk, dog warrant, 3 license, 3 warrants to sign.
Three copies, one more.
Where are they, Lean?
They're there, and they're flagged.
Got it, right front, right on top. Okay,
Right in order.
Do it all.
I bet Jennifer's gonna give the dogs a break.
just 3 copies. You just don't ever wanna get bit by a rabid dog, Dave, that's what it's all about.
That dog better worry on me biting it back.
One bite is gone, right?
Okay, moving on, Lean, could you explain what, I'm trying to figure out, and Fred, you might be able to know this too. Donna Dunn sent us an email regarding the watchtower photo used on the 2013 town report cover.
That's Goffstown's tower,
Scottstown Tower.
Yes. She
it's
would
not
like,
ours.
she would like a
Retraction.
retraction in the town report, which
She-
I already prepared if the board says yeah.
And that's the picture, it looks
Yeah.
old, but it's a Goffstown Tower.
Yeah, ours could almost possibly look like that, but
Right.
we're not.
We would say ours is a facsimile to that.
Could be,
We don't have
In
a
other
picture.
words, she just wants to be correct.
yeah.
So
Factual.
we have a standard that she wants to maintain of being correct when we put out information. That's basically what it is.
Okay, then I concur, Lean, can you make words, an edit to say a town
She's
report?
got that little paragraph at the very bottom as a
Okay.
template, and I've already put it on a Word document, which I can put on the inside front cover.
Can we put that closer to the back, does it have to be on the inside front
Oh,
cover?
absolutely, I can put it to the
I
back.
think to the back of the book,
Yeah.
cause we always have.
Too
you know,
much in the front.
Yeah,
Yes, I
we-
agree.
Okay,
Okay, works for me.
action item, okay.
I just told her to Photoshop the tree out of there and nobody would know.
All right, the other item, we're moving on to mailbox items.
John Chartier,
No,
I see a handwritten note, new.
Yeah, yeah. it was-
oh, email for John Trotter, balance counting devices. When did that come in?
That came in today at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Linda handed it to me, you all have a copy in your,
Got it right here. Okay, just John is in favor of, us pursuing the, ballot counting machine. And,
I think we should give Lean a consensus to go ahead, there was 2 pre-approved machines, which one had a higher approval rating, I think that we should.
right, but wasn't there a stipulation that's gotta go to the voters?
just as a public hearing, or some kind of.
Public hearing, okay,
There's a procedure for
okay.
Can I,
buying
can
them, but
I,
if
can I
you
make
encumber
a
the fund.
suggestion?
Go ahead, Leo.
So you're gonna have a public hearing for your, or you won't have time, you need to do this soon, right, I take it?
No, we're trying,
No, we're
we'll probably
just-
get it in summer, we'll probably have delivery
Oh,
in summer.
I was gonna, well, you know how public hearings can cost money and everything else.
They
Oh,
do.
right,
Well, can't you just have a public hearing when you have your budget public hearing?
we could,
Or we
You know,
do a public
piggyback them
hearing
and then
at
you
our
wouldn't
next
cost
select-
any
at our
money.
next select board meeting too.
I still have to put it,
2 weeks.
Well, yeah, you'd have to pronounce it, but.
We get time.
I'll have to look at the procedures. She
Okay.
said that there are procedures in that little punch list that you have there, don't
Yes.
lose it.
So I guess my thought is, let's look at the procedures and have the public hearing, cause if we don't get in the queue to purchase it,
It'll
we
be
may as
delayed.
well skip it for another year, cause we're not gonna meet the big election. We're gonna miss 3 of the 4 elections anyway,
Right,
but our hope was to have it for the big
right,
presidential
I
election.
get that, yeah.
Actually,
So, for an action item, I'd like to get it in the queue,
Soon.
get the scheduled public hearing.
yeah.
So do
And then if we
wanna
get that squared away, we can, encumber the money and get that squared
Yeah,
away.
well, the thing is, and put a budget line for
I
it.
was gonna say we should make a decision at next meeting, so we can either encumber out of our building maintenance
Yes, we
budget
don't
this
need a
year.
budget line for it,
We can encumber it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
cucumber it.
Are you
It could be
looking to have the
encumbered
public
pending the,
hearing in December, or are you looking,
As soon as we can, just so we can get in the queue of purchasing it, we gotta figure out what the process is.
So our next meeting, we should have it be a public meeting.
Right.
if I can do 7 days notice, then I think we're good, but if it's 14 days, then I can't.
well,
Or if you
what-
can't, then-
whatever you can do. Okay.
We can make a motion to encumber the money pending that public meeting.
We can.
as well.
Yes, you can, yep.
So, if not, we'll do that step at our next meeting.
Okay.
That's, the next meeting is gonna be the 28th.
Yep. Okay, mailbox item, we approved non-public minutes and we missed the signature page, and those were signed already this morning, this evening, we signed those first off.
No.
No, I did, but you didn't,
Okay,
and Dave.
Dave, it's a housekeeping, we already approved those last meeting. We just failed to sign them. Alright, we have an email from a resident, Ray Dillon, who wants to pick up on Old Hopkinton Road. He's a resident of Old Hopkinton Road, he was jogging over the weekend, ran over some leftover logs, maintenance work left on, by the utility company. The wood is on town-owned land along Star Parcel, number G20406. If they're not already earmarked for another resident, he'd be happy to pick them up and use them as firewood for the next winter.
Can we leave that to Jeff, cause Jeff probably knows more about it.
That's a state highway, Jeff wouldn't know, that's, we don't go on that, except for,
What road is he on?
He's on Stark Lane, along Stark Lane parcel G20406.
that's a state maintained road, so they have utility companies go out there, do some tree limbing.
I guess, can we make we've got a little picture of where it's at.
But,
Yeah.
but that's all town forest, then.
It is, it's,
So you would be the town
Well,
forest.
it's not necessarily could be still in the state right away.
Right, I understand that, but it's still, even my property on Route 13 is still my property.
Yeah.
So all that wood belongs to me, not the state.
Oh, yeah, right, I
Right.
understand what you're
and
saying.
that's what this is
Yeah.
a state, a town-owned property,
Right, so,
managed by-
so the town could give it away.
correct, and that's
Oh.
why
I'd
he's,
say we,
I'd say we let him have it.
just,
Yeah.
It is right on that town.
Yeah,
property,
right,
so,
yeah.
on the edge of the
I
road.
don't-
Otherwise, it's just
I
gonna
don't-
sit there and rot.
I have no
Okay.
problems with it, picking it up, might as well use it, clean it up.
I would do it
Clean up
myself
the
if
area.
if I didn't have a place to go.
Lean, that's
Could
okay?
beat him
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Email
Okay.
them back.
Okay, we have Lean put out a memorandum, just FYI, and she copied us, the Board of Selectmen, but the cutoff is tomorrow for purchases and invoices, so she can start doing end of year finalization of the budget.
I agree with that, cause when it gets too far out, our budget gets all messed up.
credit cards especially.
And credit cards too.
Yeah.
Alright, we have a quote from the Irish Electric for, it's for payment, is it a quote or for payment?
No, it's a proposal
Proposal for
to move the wires that are above the garage
Garage
doors.
doors. Oh my god, it's,
cheap,
yeah, yes,
I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Irish Electric for $12.93 to move the wires above the garage doors.
I second that, and Justin, I think it's, they've been kind to us, that's a no-brainer,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been cheaper than anybody else.
oh my gosh, yes,
okay?
You did get that small bill they sent?
yeah,
Okay.
Okay, we have revised gutter quote. Remember we asked for some information, additional information on that? There's an increase of $540.
I've already signed it and approved it, it's just an FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
I
knew it
only
was gonna be a
because,
small amount.
right, and only because I knew that we would have to get on the list
And
for
we talked about
installation.
it.
And he called me back after I scanned it to him, and he said, I just wanna give you a heads up, we're at least 30 days out, we can put high priority for yours.
But you've
But-
encumbered,
But I told him that, not to rush it, and we'll get it done when the time is right, and I've already encumbered the funds, so,
Still 30 days, I don't think is bad.
no?
No.
Yeah.
I would've thought with the holidays, they'd been out like 60 days, but
Yeah.
that's good.
Are those things, the gutters, the material, okay to install in the middle of winter?
Yeah,
Not an issue? Okay,
They'll make sure it's not, they're
they're
not
all
bad.
seamless, it'll be all one piece.
right, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
As-
One thing about them is if they ever get pulled off with an ice sliding off the roof, they're all warranted too.
Nice, okay.
Okay, then we have a request from the town administrator, and Lean, I'd just like to say thank you for this request. We have an old phone that she had from last year, it has value to AT&T, a trade-in value of $95. She would like to purchase the phone and, for, undetermined amount of money, but, from the town, and put it to use with her family, I believe.
For myself, seeing
Okay.
as my phone is used every day for town business, and it's at the end of its life. This phone is 9 months old, and it's almost like identical to mine, but mine's about 8 years old. And I can send it back to AT&T, and they can't use it, they'll junk it, or I can purchase it for a small.
So, I'd say, is that amount of money, you wanna give her the town discount, or what?
And the other phones that were involved in this,
Do you wanna go for
Change
that
over.
amount of money, Lean, is that what you wanna do, or what are you
I would
talking?
wanna pay more, because, yeah, I can buy it brand new, but it's at least $400 or more.
No, but you're okay paying that amount of money that
Yes.
we're gonna get? Okay.
Yeah, there is no cord with it, cause I didn't get that back from the employee, but the other two phones that were involved with the swap over are zero value, so there
Yeah,
was
that's
nothing
fine.
for trade,
I'm good with that.
I'm good.
okay,
Consensus, if she can buy that
She
piece
buy
of
the phone?
property for that same number.
alright,
Make it happen, Lean.
thank you.
Okay,
That's it?
no, but I'm gonna send out for public comment first, Leo. Thank you for your comments on doing the, from that gentleman presenting.
Yeah, back to the parking lot, you see what that looked like tonight? I'm parked at the house next door.
The people from the house were parked here.
Really? Well, I looked out there as I walked, there's cars parked over here, and then there's a big space, and then another car, and then another big space. And I'm like, if everybody parked in spots, you'd have more parking spots in there, and people could park, but I'm parked, and I actually pulled almost up to the fence, so I'd stay out of their way.
Yeah, it goes back to, should we stripe it? The thing is, we've had some pros and cons of striping.
Well, the spaces are really not used properly, cause somebody's parked in, and somebody else parks over
Yeah.
there. Next thing you know, you get, half the cars are out there. I know you keep talking every once in a while about the parking situation at the town hall and library, and it's get bad here even,
I would not wanna stripe anything at this time, this time of the
Yeah,
year.
they wouldn't, nobody would.
Well, kinda late for that now.
No, but I think we should take it under advisement and put it on the,
next summer.
Like
Let
I
Jeff know.
suggested, maybe just do even half a line, you don't have to go all the way if you don't like it, but at least half a line, so people can see that there's designated parking
we can
areas.
do a trial and do 50% of it.
They do fade pretty quick, the lines.
Well, yeah, I know, but at least they're there,
Yeah, and the parking lot's pretty gray out there as it is, so it's,
yeah.
I mean, even to do a full length line, I mean, it's.
Either
not-
that or at least paint a number out there for me.
Kind of
Leo's spot,
Yeah, Leo's spot. A little sign there.
right next to the handicap,
Anything
Leo's
else?
parking.
Anything
Just
else?
Put a lot of feathers there,
You wanna just
Couple more years, you're gonna have that handicap spot anyway.
Okay, I can't wait though.
We'll just put
anything?
reserve spot for 10 spaces.
Okay, back to the board, Lean,
Nothing.
okay.
Do we have an update on the RFP for the fire department roof? Are we still working on that?
No, we're not working on it.
We decided we tabled that until, because John did not complain about it during the rainy season.
And I just asked John at the, gathering we had here, and he says, the area it was leaking, it leaks no longer there, he did get a small leak down, which he thought came from the roof, but he wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah.
The other day, so he said we shouldn't bother with it at this point.
Yeah,
He
I was
broke
gonna
it,
say,
let's fix it.
yeah, he said it moved to a different spot when we were at joint loss meeting the other day, so.
Yeah, so, we're gonna, hold off and then see what happens with
That's
it.
great. Anything else?
And then another couple things at joint loss meeting, was brought up again about office rearrangements. And I had advised Lean and other departments heads to give us a list of things that they wanted done in their departments, and then we move on further. Present the list to us, and we can make a decision if that's the
Best
way we
interest.
wanted to move forward, and then we talk to, you know, an engineer about, you know, reinforcement of the floor, cause there's been conversation about the floor not being reinforced for heavy filing cabinets, safes, and things of that nature, so I made the advisement that they should develop a list instead of just throwing things at the wall and hoping we move on it, that they present us with a, you know, item
When
Suggestion
did
list.
that come up?
suggestion list, that was at joint loss meeting.
Why is that coming up at joint loss?
I think it's been a pending thing, that the staff here working is trying to resolve when it comes to confidentiality and privacy and that type of thing.
Okay, but that should have nothing to do with joint loss.
That's correct.
We should try and keep that meeting, you know, just for joint loss and not bring other
Complaints.
stuff into it.
Yep.
Only cause, you know, that's not for that subject, so I wanna make sure we don't mix it, but I agree with Justin, I think that
That'd be
if
the
somebody
step-
has a
that'd be the
plan,
step.
come to us with a plan, then we'll try and make a decision
Right.
on it.
Yeah, and then if we need to bring in Jeff Traxler or another person to advise us for reinforcement or something,
Now, we,
then we can make
now,
that
we
action.
did authorize, the installation of some commercial glass doors for heating and for privacy from, in the hallway here. Are we gonna
We
move on
got
that?
one quote, you said you'd send someone from Beltates to,
Jim actually is gonna install that hardware,
mhm.
so we'll have him come look at those
Okay.
doors then.
Now, that's something for energy, and that's, you know, the latest
Are
one.
we
is-
looking at put, just inserts in the doors that already exist?
No, actually, just replacing the door, I think it'd be easier.
I think it would be easier, and because these doors don't have
Historical value.
difficulty closing and opening, they're settled and square, I don't think that it would be,
Oh, you wanna put an insert in?
no.
No, I'd say to put the whole door in.
The whole door would be just
Well,
easier.
down towards your end, the doors down there are still kind of authentic where these ones aren't.
Mhm.
Okay, but that's something we need, I need you to continue to follow up on that, because the winter's here now.
We'll have Jim, look at it when he's
Yeah,
here.
because that wouldn't take more than a day or two to install.
The doors down in your office are kind of authentic where these are just, you see
Yeah.
how shabby these ones look, that's more what
Yeah.
they're gonna look like.
No, a glass door, we're talking about glass,
I know.
not real big.
Full view glass, French door or something.
Okay,
Alright,
continue to work on that and we'll review that, okay.
and then another thing we, had talked about at joint loss was also the walkways, how they're deteriorating here into the building. I advised Jeff that maybe he could work on that next spring. And he thought that it would be a good plan with him and Pete would come up, tear out the walkways and then have Advance come and pave them next year, just to clean up the cracks and divots and,
And then stripe.
well, it's only gonna be the two walkways here, so. And I was thinking the other day, I didn't ask him at the time, but we probably should just make a pathway from that door while he's here, dig that out and just do a pathway to that.
That's a great idea,
Just to,
because
again, keep that, that's an emergency exit.
we
and might
did
as
a
well-
nice
I'll
job
just do it
through
here,
joint
shovel
loss to
Yeah,
fix the
might as well add some,
platform, but you can still an ankle twister if you step down on the soft grass or wherever.
So I'm gonna,
Put that in.
if you,
Yeah.
could you maybe email him or ask
That's a
him?
safety concern. That's definitely a safety
Might,
concern.
might as well just do it while he's here, while he's doing those other
Yep.
two. Come over here, dig this out and have him pave that too.
Okay, excellent. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Dave?
I hung the pictures up in the town hall
You did, good.
just before the garden club meeting,
Oh, you did, good.
and Bob, is it Lamache?
Lamarca. Yeah.
Lamarck.
Lamarck, yep,
Bob gave me a hand doing it, and, they look beautiful, the frames they bought were top quality frames. They didn't do all the pictures that were down in the front entryway, cause the price came back too high, they didn't come back to save the board, could we split it with them or anything? So I'm gonna grab a few more of the frames that are down there that are authentic pictures and bring them to you and Joe Marie and let you guys look into getting frames for those ones.
okay.
Alright,
Same
they
source.
didn't ask us for us to split them.
Look at the source, see if we can identify the source.
Yeah, well, the source is right on the back of the pictures, it's, they're very high quality, wraps.
Oh, Enid was in charge of that, so I
Yeah.
can just reach out to her and get,
So,
When they had their first talk at town meeting, plus when we had a Legion meeting upstairs, echoes was so bad, you know, you couldn't hear yourself think because you get parallel walls, floor, ceiling, all hard. But since they put the pictures up last night, I was up there and they really cut down a lot of the echoing,
really?
good.
you know. But also keep in mind that we still have the 2 Grange veterans flags, which I like to see someday go back up there, but
Yeah.
they're so big, what are we gonna do with them, you know? And they're over 100 years old, so.
The, one other thing, Mary had complained that the room was at 50, remember the last time we had a memo from her?
Mhm.
While I was up there, I went up to check and make sure where everything was before the meeting. And, showed her how to open the doors before. When there's a meeting up there, the doors all need to be shut so that those fire escapes are
Maintained.
fireproof.
Yeah,
But during the day before a function, you can actually open up the doorways and get some heat there. While I was there, I said, you know, John Stevens did this building several times when it was negative 15 degrees out. And it was always 55 degrees up there. So I wanted to know how it got down to 50. I said, let me see your thermometer. I don't know if the thermometer is old. She brought it home. We're walking around, one of the windows was open 6 inches for the last several weeks. Now, I've closed them top windows 6 times. What happens is people open the bottom up, and they close the bottom back down, and the top slides down 6 inches. And they don't realize when they're locking it, they're not locking onto anything, they're
Yeah.
twisting the things the wrong way, or whatever they're doing, but
Yeah.
I've done it 5 or 6 times now, fixed them, so she did put notes not to open the windows. The other thing is, we have an air handler up there, and if they wanna exchange the air in the room and keep it the same temperatures in there,
With the outside temperature.
just gonna hit the green button, you know, and it,
Mhm.
so. I've just been trying as much as I can to try and educate people on the road, but it seems endless.
You're always gonna get that.
But anyway, the pictures are up, I did notice the round tables up there and all the chairs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They did like the plastic chairs, they're more like a wedding chair, a light duty plastic chair.
Mhm.
The legs are all rusty on them, I think that they were,
On the white chairs? Yeah,
something
true.
Tom had at a
Yeah, they were donated.
building or something. And they had all the heads down, so all the rust was sticking up. But that was the big concern, I looked at the round tables. Believe it or not, I could hardly lift the round tables
They're
myself.
heavy, yeah, that's why,
They're scratching the floor up when they fold them in half to go to put them in place, cause,
oh, they're dragging them across the floor.
well, you can't carry that table when you go to slide it into place to put them back in. And the round tables are all smooth here, but once you fold them in half, there's something in the center part that's scratching up the floor already, it's all scratched up.
Oh, it's the hinge probably that
So-
holds the two pieces together.
Those tables are way too heavy for people to be moving in and out of there, I can tell you that right now, even 2 people, it's gonna be a chore getting them through.
Wanna
a
get
double-
rectangular, just,
I think get the rectangular folding tables, we
Basic.
should get 6 or 8 up there and have them, and there's already 2.
Yeah,
So why don't we plan for 6 more up there, Lean, and just be done with it, because these tables are not gonna hurt the floor no matter how you put them in there.
right,
They're easy, they're light.
Now, do you want the ones that fold in half again, or just leave them that way?
No.
I just this way.
no, I
Yeah,
think
this
it's,
way, I don't like the fold in half.
I mean, people should be, when they're moving the tables, doing 2 people at a time.
But
And
when
you can
you-
handle this with 2 people off the floor very easily, and
So
then,
when you bring them in there, right, of course, the first thing you're gonna do is set it down in there, right, then you're gonna start unfolding it, so you may scratch the main floor there. But when you come to put them in, then you slide them into the hole that you went, well, that floor's getting scratched all up.
and that's where the edges will get all scratched up.
Yeah, but these won't, because you're just
They're
sliding, it's easy, you know, the floor's not gonna scratch from this.
Oh, okay.
It's
got it.
not the floor scratching the table, it's the
It's-
table scratching the
It's the
floor.
hinge in the middle that's scratching.
Yeah.
But, I'm telling you, they are some heavy, when I can't lift them up to check it out, so. I'm thinking, once we get the new tables in, if you guys order them up,
Yeah,
we'll bring them back down, store them there, and they can use them outside when
yeah,
they're
for the
having their
old home
events.
day, and
Yeah.
that's why they bought them, so.
Okay,
Okay, so order 6
good,
more?
good.
Yeah,
Good
just,
pickup.
I'm looking at the floor, and I'm like, oh geez, and I know the guys were careful from the transfer station putting them in there.
Well, I think it's gonna be like a gymnasium floor, it's done once a year, it's gonna have to be buffed. and-
Yeah, just, I don't wanna add to it.
Well, why ruin something too soon?
These scratches are not light surface ones.
Exactly. Okay, anything else, Dave?
I do have one more, if you're not.
One last thing is you guys heard me tell Mary earlier that the hardware is scheduled to ship
Yes.
next week for them, so
Yeah,
all that will be replaced, that hardware, so that'll be good.
hopefully they can set up the, iPad so it works.
Jim's gonna be here, so that's the guy.
Yeah,
Lean, what else do you have?
during joint loss, we had two situations with the exits, one with the exit sign in the library, that's the exit to nowhere. And then Jeff brought up that one of his fixtures in the highway garage is not working, and because the ceiling, it's 16 feet high, you need some.
The Irish door.
Yeah, so, and I've already sent them, she asked me for pictures, it makes it easier for them to know what they need to be prepared for. And she got those today, and hopefully we'll get a very minimal.
So Jeff needs a newer one,
He needs either, he said he's not sure if it's the fixture or if it's the bulb.
cause we're taking one out of here, might be able to use it.
No, it's
No,
just,
not
that's
an
an
exit
exit
sign,
light.
he has just a
He
regular,
has a regular
regular-
light fixture that
Oh.
he needs for light,
I see.
and so we're working on
Alright, it's to me, Dave?
getting quotes.
Okay, this week Lean called me, alerted me to an issue with the town forest, committee. And, we're working to resolve the issue, and I think we have an action plan.
Yeah,
you
Jeff
may
is
have-
asked to
we
be
have
put on
copied
the
on it?
agenda for the, January 11th.
Right, I wanna thank Fred for talking with me and educating me on some of the processes, thank you, Fred.
You're welcome.
And Lean did a lot of legwork to pull up the regs, and the only thing that brought it to attention was the fact that we were looking at how do we acquire land, we realized we couldn't do it, and there were procedures that need to be followed, and we need to do some housekeeping at town meeting to make sure the town forest we keep the intent of what they try to do, we wanna keep their intent, and we just wanna make it clean, make it legal, and we'll go from there. Well, not legal, but just clean it up, so it's kosher with it, I mean, way it should be done.
Yeah.
Cause as we know, the only body that can acquire land is,
Conservation.
Conservation.
no,
yeah.
is the only one, and the town, basically the town legislative body is the other one. And the town legislative body is the only one who can basically take any piece of land and convert it into a town forest. It's gotta have at least a tree though, I think, right, one tree on it? Okay, but that's a work in action, and John's they're gonna come in next week, next meeting,
The 11th.
11.
I think
two
he's,
meetings.
I think his intention is to meet with the town forest committee at a special meeting,
Okay.
and then come up with a plan.
But the thing is, I get educated along the way, and,
Are you, got Jeff scheduled for here, for January 11th or not?
He said, put me on the selectmen's agenda for January 11th.
Okay,
So I think the other part is up to
I'm not sure if I can make it now, cause I got cataract surgery the 10th, so I don't know what's gonna happen after that.
you're gonna see wonderfully, I can guarantee
You
that.
just need your ears,
Huh?
you just need your ears.
That's all right, in my ears, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know about the
Okay,
cold
one
weather or
quick one,
whatever, but
oh,
they
yeah.
allow me to do
I-
some,
Yeah, I get it,
okay.
you can't drive.
Remind me if I forget, I have a quick, non-public about the land.
Okay, okay, then I make a motion for RSA 91 alpha, semicolon 3, subparagraph 2, paragraph